live at Capitol Hill, Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is still testifying before senators about what took place at the Trump-Putin summit and the president's plans for North Korea and Iran. Here are some of the more contentious moments from this afternoon.
Has the president told you what he and President Putin discussed in their 2-hour closed-door meeting?
Presidents have a prerogative to choose who's in meetings or not. I'm confident you've had private one-on-one meetings in your life as well.
Did he tell you whether or not what happened in those 2 hours?
Yes, Senator. The predicate of your question implied some notion that there was something improper about having a one-on-one meeting.
I heard you talk and brag about the number of sanctions.
Senator, these were just facts.
The facts is that the Congress passed the CATSA statute that required sanctions to be imposed.
At least my best recollection of the Constitution is the president signed that law as well. So I thank you for presenting that law.
So that's one of the things our founders thought of, Jedediah, is that in a system like ours, you should have the executive branch accountable to the legislative branch, and that's why the secretary went up. And I think acquitted himself quite well today. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I love the way he delivers things because he's so measured that I feel like just his delivery alone inspires confidence. And I think he did what he needed to do. He talked about how there would be no easing of the sanctions with Russia. He gave a good defense of NATO. He talked about how we're not recognizing Russia's annexation of Crimea. And I thought Marco Rubio actually did a great job when he lists out all of the policy reasons that the United States has been strong on Russia, kind of reminding people that what you see in the media about, oh, the media doesn't like the way Trump responds to Putin in a press conference. Look beyond that and look at what the administration has actually done. And if you look at that, you see that they've been much stronger than the prior administration. And he laid out very specifics, and I felt that it was a very empowering moment for people to see and kind of get their head on straight as to the fact that this administration actually has been quite strong. And based on what Pompeo said today, will continue to be strong. So it was very confidence-inspiring from my perspective, and I'm really glad that he's in there.
And right before this hearing, Jesse, Ambassador John Bolton, I guess, do we call him Mr. Secretary? No. Oh, gosh, I have all these titles. He is now the National Security Advisor. Came out with a statement saying the president has decided to delay the Putin invitation until after the Russia investigation is over, so it probably now won't take place till early 2019.
So Republicans on Capitol Hill are breathing a deep sigh of relief. They don't have to deal with Pooty Poot before the midterms. I think Pompeo did a great job today. I thought he was resolute, he was convincing, he was passionate, he was strong. Probably the most effective person in the cabinet for delivering President Trump's message. He talked about how tough the administration has been on Russia and how ready now NATO is to counteract any Russian aggression. And Rand Paul made a really good point. He said, President Reagan, when he met with his Russian counterparts, he never went up there and shook his fist and threatened the Russian counterpart and never blasted him to his face. Yes, he said tear down that wall. Yes, he was tough in other ways, but he never pointed and spit the way that Democrats wanted President Trump to do against Putin.
Hey, Jesse.
Yes.
You know that the Russians interfered in the 2016 election?
They did a lot worse under the Cold War, Juan. Where were you then?
You covered Reagan and those summits. You tell us.
I just think, Jesse is right. Tear down that wall. We're going to build a peacekeeper missile. Remember that?
Yeah.
We're going to go after you. We're not taking this, and we don't believe in communism. Harsh words from President Reagan.
And your party was against the harsh words.
No, it was not. I don't know why you always...
You guys were against SDI.
This is why Republicans are blind to Trump. You make everything into, like, team sports. No, let's just be straight with each other. Reagan was tough on the Russians. Not only that...
He was tough, but he had nice diplomacy with Russia.
By the way, people on the right went after Reagan about that, too.
Well, I'm just saying... But anyway, the thing that strikes me, Mike Pompeo and I are both fans of Kansas basketball. I think he's a nice guy, but I got to tell you, he looked like Sergeant Schultz there. I see nothing. I see nothing.
No.
Well,
he's saying right there, oh, you know what? Sanctions. Look at all the sanctions put in place. Wait a minute. Trump purposely slow-walked imposition of those very sanctions put in place by Congress to punish Russia for interference.
They did done. In the meantime, Greg, one of the reasons that this hearing was interrupted is because the president called the pool, the White House press pool, back to the White House, to the Rose Garden, and he was having that meeting with Juncker from the EU, and I thought, oh my gosh, they have a deal, and he came out and he's like,
yeah,
pretty much have a deal. We have a way of getting to a deal.
I'm glad you brought that up. 2 points to make, because one about the press. That's a huge win for Trump, but it's boring. Like, nobody cares about these trade wars because it's just numbers. But it's a big win. You saw the stock market go up. It's a big deal. Number two, how many hearings does this make? Like, this is why I keep saying that Trump is the most educational presidency ever, because when Trump burps, they have a hearing on what he ate. Do you have, Mr. Secretary, did he have Chipotle or did he have Wendy's chili when he belched this morning? That's what they're doing. Like, every time Trump does something, there is a hearing. So because of that, we are all forced to learn more and more about governance. This is the most transparent agency ever. I have a theory, though. Maybe you'll tell me I'm crazy. I think there's already shifts going on with Russia and Iran already in terms of Syria. I think that Russia is looking at Iran as their high school girlfriend, or let's say high school boyfriend. And America is the college quarterback. And they just dumped Iran for America. Do you think that's a good theory, that you're going to see Iran kind of on its own with Syria, and you're going to see that they're going to be kind of like having to back away because Russia is no longer going to support them?
Part of that would be because Netanyahu has gone to Russia, I think 3 or 4 times now, to talk to Putin, because Iran has fighters on their border.
Right.
And Russia should do something about that. Will he? I don't know. I think
we're going to end up seeing a positive result in Syria pertaining to Iran, and also with North Korea with Russia's help.
Well, let me just ask you something. Most transparent? We still don't know what happened in the meeting with Putin. We don't know what happened with Kim Jong-un.
That's because he wants to have some flexibility, Juan.
No, because the Russians are out there, and they're saying, in fact, that President Trump agreed to some kind of reconstruction with Syria, to some kind of deal with Syria. And we don't know. We don't know what they're saying because that would be illegal.
But Pompeo said that he feels like he's got all the information that he needs. I mean, he's not a fool.
During the Obama years, when we were saying what's going on behind the scenes, I remember a lot of folks on the left saying, give him some space. He can't disclose everything.
Dan Rose lying boasting about lying to America.
If you want to talk about like sex scandals, this is not. Imagine if Obama had been involved in sex. But on foreign policy, nowhere near the obfuscation, the lies that we see from this guy who's cozy with Vladimir Putin.
You have to admit he's getting stuff done. I see no evidence of the collusion.
Where is the deal? Where is the deal, Jedediah? No need to shout, but I'm saying, where is the deal on North Korea? Where is the deal with Russia? Where's the deal on Syria?
It's not going to happen overnight.
It's really only been, I mean, I know that every day feels like 7, but it really is only 24 hours.
I think every day feels like a Sunday.
All right, a California city okays an outrageous punishment for violators of its plastic straw ban. Greg is going to explain it all next.
You still think I'm crazy, standing here today. I couldn't make it when I'm straight.
You want to talk priorities? Well, California is plagued by rampant homelessness, drug use, and human waste that's spreading disease everywhere. Here's what matters to their leaders: straws. Yeah, plastic drinking straws. Santa Barbara just passed a bill that punishes restaurant owners with jail time and fines if they give out these straws. And get this, each straw counts as a crime, meaning if you hand out straws at a children's birthday party, which I often do, you could do more time than your average felon. Now, I could understand this law if you didn't have any other stuff to worry about, if you didn't have dramatic rise of disease, crime, homelessness. Maybe you can go after the straws. But your state's teetering on the edge of Armageddon, you nitwits, which may be why politicians are focusing on evil straws. The concern over straws is really just a denial of far worse problems. Straws, get this, they make up only 0.02% of the plastic that ends up in the ocean. You'd find more plastic in the faces of certain coastal politicians, who I won't mention. What also hurts this narrative? America is responsible for less than 1% of the waste in the sea. Most of this plastic trash comes from other countries. But if you can't blame America, then I guess it's no story. But here's where you really see the consequences of such phony concerns. Who needs straws most? The disabled who can't drink without them. Good job, Santa Barbara. Like the straws you try to ban, you suck. But unlike the straws, not in a good way. Jedediah, I've always said if they outlaw straws, only outlaws will have straws. I've said that.
You have said that.
You've heard me say that.
I have heard you, and I am a defender of the straw.
Yes.
I will have you know.
Is this
I'm
a straw argument?
Activist. I have now turned into a straw activist. I will be handing out straws after the show of varying sizes.
Can I give you a straw poll?
Yes, you may. Remember those straws you had when you were a kid, by the
Silly
way?
straws.
Around the best.
You know what? Death penalty.
Best.
If you have a silly straw, you are electrocuted.
You know, I love stuff like this because folks on the left just can't let the private businesses decide. If a private business decides they don't like straws, this is environmentally, unsound for them, they can opt to not do it. Why do you have to get the government involved? Why do people on the left, Juan, maybe you can help me with this. Why do people on the left often feel to mandate, they need to tax, to penalize in order to change behavior? Why not just put the information out there, let people in the free market hopefully read the information, make better decisions for themselves and their families, and have a domino effect? Doesn't it rub you the wrong way that it's a top-down approach all the time? It drives me crazy. Well,
but remember, it's a lot like motorcycle helmets to me. You know, people say they just want to ride and they enjoy the wind in their hair or their face. But when they crash, oh my gosh, and the taxpayer, you and I, Jedediah, end up paying for their hospital bill, and, it's not a good situation because it drives up the cost of health care.
It's a straw man argument, Juan.
That was good.
That was excellent.
Thank you.
But I would say, to me, I run into this because, you go into the grocery store, the drugstore, and they want to charge you an extra nickel now for a bag.
Yeah.
Because they want to discourage your use of plastic bags. And the same thing with the straws. I think, well, why is it? But then I think, wait a minute. So then the trash collects because all this plastic collects. And guess what?
It works.
Yeah. And then not only does it hang in the trees, all these plastic bags.
Which I find to be beautiful.
You like that?
Yes, it's considered modern art in New York.
Is that right?
Yes.
I didn't know. But it is. But it's in a lot of trees, with a few trees that exist in Manhattan. But I just think then government does have a responsibility to clean it up, pay for it, or as Dana points out, and she wishes President Trump would go and get that trash out of the ocean because it fouls our seas.
But that's not America's. He should do it.
It's more of a second-term issue, really.
And also, the thing is, though, if you look at the statistics, this is a problem of other countries, but we could do something about it. What bothers me is that we hear about prison reform, like we need to release drug dealers, but we're going to put people who use straws in jail.
Right. Yes, of course. So California is curious. I would love to go and be a moderator of a debate between the gubernatorial candidates there.
That'd be great.
I don't know if they would go for that, but I think it would be fun. I was just going to mention innovation. I mean, we are creating the most amazing things.
You want a new straw?
I want a new straw. So I usually don't use my phone on the show, but I looked it up. Have you heard of Beyond Meat?
Yes.
We may have had it one time. It's like an imitation. No, it's not.
It actually bleeds.
Delicious.
It
actually bleeds because they have made it look like meat, and it's a nice alternative. Why can't we come up with an alternative?
A straw that bleeds? What are you, some kind of monster? You know what? Okay. Permanent, a straw that's like a knife and fork that's permanent, like you.
Yeah, they have some metal ones that you could take with you, or how about ones that disintegrate after a while, but not while you're drinking it?
The disintegrating straw, Jesse.
Well, that's why Dana's on TV and she's not an inventor.
I mean, you have to have great ideas in order to get somewhere.
Edible straw.
Here's what I think. I think Santa Barbara is paradise, and don't mess with paradise. It's perfect. And politicians need to pass laws to feel useful. And we've had about 250 years in this country almost, and politicians are running out of laws to pass. So now they're trying to become your parent, and they're saying, I'm going to regulate your bedroom, I'm going to regulate how you drink, what you say, how you behave. But they don't need to do this anymore. It's over. It's over. We're all fine now.
Don't you think, though, that these are the same people that probably order a ton of stuff from Amazon, and how much packing, plastic?
I think I'm waiting for that backlash.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
Peter McMahon is very upset that we ordered like one little thing that comes in a huge box with all the stuffing in it, and then you have to get rid of it.
Yeah, no, that's immoral.
There's got to be a better way.
That's immoral. All right, if you support Brett Kavanaugh, you're evil. That's the latest attack coming from a key Democratic senator.
Place your hand where I can't see because I understand.
Some Democrats coming under fire for using extreme rhetoric when attacking President Trump. Cory Booker raising eyebrows with this message to his fellow senators who do not oppose Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
I'm here to call on folk to understand that in a moral moment, there is no neutral. In a moral moment, there is no bystanders. You are either complicit in the evil, you are either contributing to the wrong, or you are fighting against it.
And Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York being criticized for his choice of words when he went after the president's illegal immigration policies.
They are on a jihad to deport as many people as they can who they believe are not in the United States legally.
So we have a situation where right now I think it's just 2 Democrats in the Senate have agreed to even meet with Kavanaugh to have discussions. Of course, no Republicans ever met with Merrick Garland. How do you put that together, Jesse?
This is how I do it. When Bush said Iraq, Iran, and North Korea were the axis of evil, Democrats got really upset by that.
That's true.
And then Booker has no problem labeling Republicans evil. I just think it's President Trump doesn't even call Democrats evil.
He didn't call Republicans evil.
Complicit in evil? He's talking about the Republicans, they're going to vote for a strict constructionist to fill the Supreme Court
No, he's talking about Democrats. He's saying he doesn't want any Democrats to vote for
because it's evil.
Evil.
Yeah, no, because he sees that Merrick Garland was blocked.
He's still calling the Republican judicial philosophy evil. And I think that goes way beyond, and why he's only doing this because he's running for president.
Okay.
He's trying to raise his profile, and he's trying to make a splashy soundbite. But I just don't think Obama and Bill Clinton didn't get elected to the White House by calling people evil. I mean, they got off. Well, they got there a lot of other corrupt ways, but they at least didn't do that.
I respect your view, but I just tell you, I don't think that's what he's saying. I think he's saying that the Republicans blocked a legitimate, twice-elected president from nominating someone to the Supreme Court for a year. Now you get, not only do you get Neil Gorsuch, but you get a situation where they're going to get a second appointment, and, you know, so Dana, right now...
So you got to hate the game.
Yeah, hate the game, but I don't think he's saying that about the president.
Well, I think hyperbole is what you use when you don't have a good argument. And in order to make headlines, you have to have... The hyperbole has to increase with everybody that's going out there. Cory Booker is not helping the Democrats keep the seats that they have in the Senate right now. He's certainly not trying to increase their majorities, because the 10 Senate Democrats that are running, many of them in states where Trump won by double digits, 60, 65% of the people there say we want Kavanaugh confirmed by the midterms. It makes it so much harder on them. It's like, it's just thinking through the game and the strategy is difficult. If his goal is to get some headlines out there so that he can be a front runner in 2020, that's one thing. That, there are consequences and fallout for that.
Well, Jedediah, so the poll, Quinnipiac has a poll out, says 41% of Americans say no to Kavanaugh, 40% says yes to Kavanaugh. So this is a big split in the American mind. 50% were okay with Neil Gorsuch just a year ago. So it seems to me like there's something different about the Kavanaugh nomination. Even among Republicans, the level of support is not what I thought it would be.
Kavanaugh is not radical to me at all. I think some Republicans, some people who are really conservative on the right, have taken issue with Kavanaugh from the other side, saying that his Obamacare rulings, the comments that he's made about Obamacare, they don't feel so safe about. But, I mean, when it comes to, if you don't want to meet with someone of the opposition party, that's up to you. People do it on both sides. I think it's a bad idea when it happens on both sides, but it happens. But this language, to me, I'm always inclined to take the high road and say, why are we doing this? We sound like a bunch of mean girls and boys on the middle school playground. But whenever you take the high road, the person on the other side doesn't. Yeah. And somehow, it has to somehow happen on both sides, or it doesn't make any sense.
Susan Collins did meet with Merrick Garland, for the record, just so we're clear.
And I think Cuomo's
She's a Republican.
Yeah, Susan Collins.
Yeah.
That's what your point was. No Republicans did. I'm saying she did, and she's a Republican.
I said no Democrats.
No Democrats.
What,
with Merrick Garland?
Oh, Merrick Garland. No.
Juan, you just confused everybody.
You got me confused. Anyway, great.
The initial question was, do these comments help or hurt? I think this is progress. I mean, they moved from calling people Nazis to jihadists. So that's definitely a softening. Now you can call them flesh-eating bacteria or cannibals. Remember, these were the dopes who were offended when you called MS-13 gang members animals. Oh, my God, you're calling these gang members animals. Oh, how dare you? And yet, this is what they do. Cory Booker and Andrew Cuomo proved Charles Krauthammer's observation. The difference between the left and the right is the right thinks they're wrong or dumb, but the left thinks you're evil. And so Cory immediately deemed the other side evil, which makes me think he's dumb.
Elizabeth Warren, by the way, does this all the time. This is her MO. This is all she knows how to do. I'm always saying, like, run her, because this is it. She has nothing to do but insult and throw names. There's no substance there ever. She was saying that Kavanaugh was hostile to health care for millions. Based on what? Like, what is that kind of language even? So I'm always telling Democrats, Throw her front and center, please. That would
Wow. So, you know, it's a good thing the president is a role model on not bullying and using aggressive language. Anyway, airline CEOs feeling the squeeze after shrinking size of the seats on your next flight. Find out what we mean about this. You're going to get a little nervous, itchy. You know what I mean? Next.
Never lets in the sun.